Welcome students, parents, staff, and friends of Augusta County to Connecting with Augusta County Schools. I'm Eric Bond, and I proudly serve as your division superintendent. Please join me throughout the year as we take a closer look at our outstanding division and how we strive to serve every child, every day. Hello again, and welcome to another edition of Connecting with Augusta County Schools. We are so excited and fortunate today to have as our guest Mr. Bryant. Mr. Bryant is our Teacher of the Year for Augusta County Schools, and he is our building trades instructor here at Valley Career and Technical Center. And so, Mr. Bryant, welcome to Connecting with Augusta County Schools.
Thank you, Dr. Bond, for having me.
Absolutely. First of all, congratulations. Congratulations on all that you do for our students in Augusta County Schools, Stanton and Waynesboro included, because this is a regional program. But certainly the accolade and award of being selected as Augusta County Public Schools Teacher of the Year is certainly deserving, and we congratulate you on that. And we certainly appreciate what you do for our students and our community as a whole. So congratulations. And again, we're excited to have you as a guest here. Let's let our listeners get to know you a little bit, if you don't mind, Mr. Bryant. If you can kind of tell us a little bit about your background and kind of how you got to where you are here as an instructor at Valley Career and Technical Center.
Well, I guess that's always going to be a little bit of a twisted road for anybody that lands as a teacher later in life. I started out, grew up in Buckingham County, which is the other side of the mountain there, very rural, very low populated area. My mother always joked me and said I'd either be a preacher or a teacher. I struck out on the preacher side. Doesn't mean, though, that I totally went through high school and discovered that I could do well at it if I just gave it a try. And so I ended up getting into most any of the colleges that I wanted to as I came out of high school, and I went away to JMU, spent a year there, and during that time my father passed away. So he and I had a deal. I thought he lost his part of the deal. I thought I lost my part of the deal. So I just kind of decided to move on from school at that time, and I went into carpentry. I went into landscaping and any of the trades and things like that, and found that I always needed to be busy and working with my hands and moving along. Decided that I probably shouldn't have broken that deal to go to school, so I ended up enlisting in the military to chase a little more education. So then that became a path of being a lifelong learner. I spent 20 years just taking a class here, engineering class there, calculus class there, and so throughout it, as I was working in the construction trades, I always got sent each and every one of the new guys. And they either were made or break with me. I mean, it was kind of one of those deals where if they were worth their salt, then I would teach them and they would grow. And so I've always been teaching the trade anyway. And so when this position came open 4 years ago, I was like, that's my jam. That's where I need to be.
So obviously we are very proud of you and what you do for our students, as I said earlier, but we're also very proud of the program that we have here, the building trades program that we have here at Valley Career and Technical Center. Tell our listeners a little bit about your program here and what you're doing for our students in Stanton, Augusta, Waynesboro here with the building trades program.
So we're a 2-year program in my class. It's a Carpentry 1, Carpentry 2. You have to pass Carpentry 1 to get to Carpentry 2. Your schedule has to allow for the 2 blocks. I actually have more influence on my students than most teachers can ever hope for. I end up with them for 2 hours a day for 2 years. And so with that, our program is one of the most well-known across the state because we build the largest single-year student-driven project on supposedly the East Coast. It's a 1,680-square-foot house that is 3 bedrooms and 2 baths, and then we auction that, and that's how we provide the money for our own class to run. We also, the electrical class, the HVAC class, and oftentimes the masonry class, we pull in welding, and all of those people have a part in this particular house. There's a celebration at the end that includes the auction of it, and the boys just get to constantly be hands-on. And so for a bunch of your non-traditional type students that are not someone that wants to sit down and be in a classroom, we're in here for 10 to 15 minutes for a lesson, and then we're out working for an hour and 45 minutes. And they don't balk on that. They want to work. They want to pass their day with the time. They're currently out there right now building on a house.
So certainly the skills they work on that does translate to the workforce and what we need here in the Commonwealth and the Valley as far as skilled workers with that experience in building trades. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, and I don't always focus on building carpenters. I try very hard to build morally sound with a work ethic, because most of them come to me and they don't know how to show up. They don't know how to just be present. And so a lot of the stuff we work on is one of the first two things I talk to them about in 11th grade is I need you to have a driver's license and I need you to graduate in some way from high school. Because high school has been proven to be a difference of about $500,000 a year in their earnings. And your mom's going to get tired of taking you to work. So get your license and make yourself independently able to work. And then I don't care where you work. I care that you go and succeed.
So not only are you instrumental in the house project, which is your main project, but you and your students also do some smaller projects. But tell our listeners a little bit about what recently happened, your idea of the one-day build for Habitat for Humanity.
So last Saturday, the 7th, it all came together in the rain that we had about 12 contractors. I probably had 30 to 40 of my former students. And then I had 20 or 25 of my current students, and we all came together and did a 12-hour build. The rain finally washed us out about 7 o'clock after 10 hours, but we were able to frame the first ever two-story house, and we built it as a modular, and it's going to be set over in Stanton for Habitat for Humanity. And so it was actually a fundraiser for Habitat for Humanity. It was a fundraiser for our programs here at Valley Career and Technical. We get ready to establish a foundation, and there was monies that were promised across to the foundation in the amount of about $25,000. And then Habitat actually got the house. We organized it here through the school with our guys. We brought back our alum. We also used it as like a job fair, because how better can you interview any of my students, former or present, than work right next to them for 12 hours?
Right.
And so it was a huge success. Habitat is working on the backside of it, of getting the house moved over. We were at a dead zone on our building in the back where we were building for the governor's school. And so this fills in the void so that they always have something to do.
Sure. And I can't stress enough just a fabulous project that was. Again, just to reiterate, you involved your current students, your past students, your community leaders, and building for such a worthy cause like Habitat for Humanity. I can't thank you enough, you and your leadership, for taking on that project as well. Obviously, you inspire and you influence your students. You kind of mentioned your parents earlier is talking about being maybe an influence on you. I guess that's my question for you right now. Who was your inspiration and influenced you to pursue a career in education?
I can't say that there was any one person. I was fortunate enough to work under 30 good carpenters, through the years. I worked over in Charlottesville at very high-end custom construction. I really enjoyed drawing the houses, and so I ventured into doing a lot of the design work of it. I owned my own business. Of course, my parents brought me up to just really work hard, and my grandfather was a carpenter before he passed, and so I worked with him. I think in general, just the desire to be good in life, just to push forward. And I always feel like my old man died at 40 years old, and he told me before he passed, he said, "Son, you got to go out and live because you don't know whether the sun's going to shine tomorrow." And so I just kind of attack life like that. I always feel like the time is short. So if it means getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning and going to bed at 10, then you just got to go. You'll sleep enough when you're dead.
Obviously, you can tell by your comments, and I've known you for some time now, that you're extremely passionate about your profession, but more importantly, you're so passionate about your students and mentoring your students. Why is that mentoring your students so important to you?
I think because my success will always be weighed in their success to me. I always tell them when they first get here, I say, I will only be successful if 5 years from now you come driving up in a brand new truck and you're getting ready to buy a new house and you're doing the things that make me proud. I make it very clear that I will accept all their shortcomings, but I won't allow them to be excuses.
Obviously, you're passionate about your profession, you're passionate about teaching. What advice would you give someone who wanted to become a teacher?
Love the students. Start there, because that'll make your life easier, because that'll make you want to come back whether you're having a rough day or not. Don't get caught in the weeds of it. A lot of the weeds are, did I turn in this report on time? Did I, you can elevate, and especially in this time with the pandemic, everybody's amped up about the stress of did we teach them enough? Did we do enough? If you're doing the job of loving the kids, then there's no reason that you won't get all the rest of the stuff done.
Mr. Bryant, thank you again for being a guest on our podcast. I think if anyone meets you and spends at least 5 minutes of time with you, they can understand and appreciate why you are the Augusta County Teacher of the Year. So congratulations on that. So also today with us, we're very excited to have two additional special guests with us here as we celebrate Mr. Bryant and his accolade of Augusta County Teacher of the Year. We have two of Mr. Bryant's students. First, we have Ethan Eppard is a junior at Riverheads High School. Ethan, welcome to Connecting with Augusta County Schools. And then we also have Branson Wilhoit, a junior from Buffalo Gap High School. Branson, welcome to Connecting with Augusta County Schools.
Thank you.
So, gentlemen, it's exciting to have you here as students of Mr. Bryant to kind of get your perspective on his leadership as a teacher for you and of the Building Trades program here at Valley Career and Technical Center. Ethan, let me ask you a question to start out with. Obviously, you gentlemen are aware that Mr. Bryant is the Augusta County Public Schools Teacher of the Year. You may or may not be aware that he did win a Dahlgren Award this year as well for his service to the community. Ethan, tell us, in your opinion, why do you think Mr. Bryant won these awards?
Well, he's always caring for others and helping anybody he can, putting himself after others. And I think he's just caring and can teach everybody a lot.
Outstanding, Ethan. Thank you for that, and we appreciate your perspective on that. Branson, let me ask you a question. If you could thank Mr. Bryant for one thing, what would you thank him for?
How he always stays calm and makes sure he teaches us about what's right, even if we mess up. He's fine with it. He just helps us fix it. And how he's always caring for others and he'd do anything to help you.
Thank you, Branson. I appreciate your perspective on that. So, Ethan, here's an interesting question for you, okay? Playing a little psychology with you here. What is one word, in your opinion, that best describes Mr. Bryant, and why did you pick that word?
I would say wisdom, because he's got more knowledge than a lot of people I know, and he's been through it all, and he knows just about everything, I'd say.
That's outstanding. Let me ask you both a question, kind of as a follow-up to that. When we were talking to Mr. Bryant earlier, he emphasized not only the program here and the curriculum here with Building Trades, but he also emphasized working with his students, just mentoring and just being successful in life, period. Would you expand on that? Do you think he teaches you not just carpentry, but life skills, how to be a better citizen, how to be a better person?
Oh, 100%. He's always got the best life lessons and the greatest stories to tell of his years.
And that's something that you value and you take away, and you feel like it's a nice mentorship role for you in that way?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Ethan pretty much covered it all, how he helps us with making sure we're good for the workforce and make sure that we have a job and that we're making the money that we should be making.
Branson, I got one last question for you. What's one thing you will always remember about Mr. Bryant, being a student of his here at the Building Trades program at Valley Career and Technical Center?
I'll always remember how, like I said, he'll make sure we have a job no matter what. And he's talked to me several times this year about my job and saying that I need to make sure I'm making the money I should be making, and that if I'm not happy with it, to come to him and he will help me find another job.
So it's fair to say, as part of this mentor role as your instructor, he has connections in the workforce too. So he's pretty passionate about, one, getting you through this coursework, getting you certified, but then he also helps you facilitate getting out in the workforce and getting that career pathway that you choose. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, he wants us to succeed at life and be able to do what we want to do and be happy with our life.
Perfect. Well, gentlemen, I can't thank you enough for being with us on our episode today. I appreciate what you guys are doing here. I know the projects that you're working on currently with the house project, and certainly if you participate in the Habitat for Humanity project, are just so critically important for our community. And I just applaud you both for your hard work and your efforts and what you're doing here in the Building Trades program under the leadership of Mr. Bryant. So thank you both for being a guest with us today. And I wish you well, and congratulations on finishing your junior year and getting ready to move on to your senior year. So outstanding, and I appreciate you gentlemen very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel to get updates on our latest episodes. Our episodes can always be found on Augusta County Schools Facebook page and website.